Is our life any better? There's more poor people than ever. A third of the world's population lives on less than €1 a day. More disease, more hunger, more cancer, more diabetes, more corruption. You only have to look at how just the world is by looking at the Middle East at the moment. You can see the kind of issues we've got. So the world's in a pretty grim place, actually. And so that big question for me is, do we sit here and wonder and suffer and moan? No, that's not really going to get us very far, is it? So the big question to me is, what are the opportunities with what's happening and this fantastic creative experiences we heard earlier, our creative ability? How can we use positive psychology and creativity to create something much, much better? How do we use what's going on today in innovation around sustainability to create a better event experience, to create more value as a result of what we do? More value socially, environmentally, and economically out of events we organise. So that's the key question. Balancing resources, advancement, innovation with what's going on. And so I throw out to you this concept that sustainability can add something quite interesting to your event. If you integrate it strategically into the way you manage your meetings, you can get a lot more value and create something special. And there's a key question there. It's not about what can I, or what can you, or what can you do about being more sustainable. It's about what can sustainability do for you, to turning it around. So let's look at that in a moment, because there's some brands that have done some pretty clever stuff about this. So we can think about our friends in Japan, Toyota. You know, 2000 they created a car called the Prius. And I travel around pretty much most weeks around the world, and one of my favourite things to do is ask taxi drivers, you know, about the cars. And more and more Priuses are coming around the world. So I will say to the taxi driver, no, you should go Prius, so you're environmentally sensitive and, you know, connected to sustainability. Normally, most times they go, no. I said, why do you go to Prius? He goes, because I save about 500 or 600 euros a month. It's normally about that for a taxi driver. So they're buying it not because it's green, the majority of them, because it saves money. So what are some of the other advantages, and how does that apply to the web? I'm the president of the Green Meeting Industry Council, the GMIC, it's an association about sustainability in the meetings industry. And we have an award that we give each year at IMAX. And with the last 3 years, Oracle won it. They saved themselves over 1.5 million euros through their sustainability program. Next year, COP15, held here, won the award and saved over 600,000 euros through sustainability. This year, the AIDS Foundation saved over 600,000 euros. But not only did they make saving, they created a better event experience. They gave back in a social way and an environmental way. They created value, they created legacy. They created a new path, a new route, something that's a little different. So how can each of us work around that? What can we do in our own worlds, in our own events, to create something that's better? So in this path, and this is what I do, I work with organisations to integrate strategic, sustainable plans. What's the first step? And I think for you guys as event planners, you have something quite interesting. You have influence, you have power. And a lot of that power comes from your pocket and from your handbag. It's your wallet, it's what you spend. So how do you use that weapon as a kind of a weapon of mass transformation? And that's by asking a simple question. Every time you buy something, ask your provider, your partner, how can you help me be more sustainable? How can you help me be more sustainable? And what are you doing around sustainability? And so with that question, with that weapon of mass transformation, you can start to look at how you buy services and products in a slightly different way. I'm talking about having some different criteria. You already buy economically, and you look at quality, sure. But what about the social impacts? Where was it made? Who made it? What about the environmental impacts? What happens when that product's destroyed? What was it made from? What were the environmental impacts of when it was made? So start to think about it when you buy a product. And then start to think about, in your own, and when you're buying something personally, with your own money too. And then that helps you, not only when you buy, but also when you're working with your clients. You set yourself some objectives. I'll give you a few examples here. So when you're working with that partner, ask them, okay, how can you help me reduce my waste? How can you help me recycle? What do you do? Here's a good place. How can you help me cut energy use? How can you allow me to align with my clients' CSR objectives of using more renewable energy? How can you allow me to cut down the chemical use? The chemicals around us, the chemicals we spray, the chemicals we clean with, the chemicals used in the paint called cancer, headaches, migraines, lots of diseases. So how can we start to eliminate those and create a healthier event experience? How can you help me, Mr. Partner, not destroy the environment? I don't want to print so much. Steve from Wonderful Covenant, how can you help me reduce my paper usage? Oh, you've got an app. Thank you very much. That's really useful. Or those merchandising I buy, how can you help me create a product that's better? How can you help me buy ethically? I want to give back to the community. What are your NGO partners? Visit Denmark. What are you doing? How can you help me? So if we start to ask some questions and press some buttons, we can start to make some progress. And this is some of the lessons I've learned, is that it's not difficult. It's just about asking a question. And that's the key first step in strategic sustainable event management. It's about engaging your partners. Okay? It's about using some positive psychology, stick and carrot. Include it into your contracts. Include it into your RFPs. Step by step. Don't make it too difficult. Because it's those small steps that really help to make a difference. And if we look and we take all those small steps together, then we can use our events to do something very powerful. We can give a purpose to what we're doing, and that's to advance change. That's to create a more sustainable world. It's to create value, not only economically for us and our brands and the people we work with, but we can give back to the communities. We can give back to the environment and the planet where we work. And we can leave with something that's more powerful and more enduring. And that's a better type of prosperity. So ladies and gentlemen, please consider taking some small steps and really using the power of your events. Thank you.